This was a very tragic incident, very disastrous. Matter of fact, if you know anything about plane crashes, you know that sometimes people don't survive at all. And even if they do, sometimes they sustain very serious injuries. So when this video circulated on social media, a lot of people thought, look, no one is going to make it. But not only was there a survivor, he literally walked out with minor cuts and bruises, not with third-degree burns or very serious injuries. Matter of fact, the doctor says that he is not in critical condition. So some people have been asking, is this a blessing in disguise? Is this some sort of miracle, or is this sheer luck? When you come here in Ghana, the Registered Nurses and Midwives Association have decided to go back to work after several discussions and negotiations with the government. And this is good news because we know that patients were really struggling. Welcome to This Week in News. Let's quickly do a deep dive of some of the top stories for the week. I am Etornam Kumashie. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association made some demands. They asked for fuel allowance, book and research allowance, uniform allowance, among others. And government was saying, look, we understand your concerns. We understand that there was some form of agreement between you and the previous administration, but you'd have to hold on for a bit. And they went on strike and they said, look, we are not going to move. We are not budging until our demands are met. And you know, you heard stories across the country, patients struggling because when they get to the hospital, nurses are not available. The situation got so dire that the health minister had to ask retired nurses and midwives to leave their rest period and come deal with the mess. But the good news is that they have reached some form of consensus and they've decided to go back to work, at least until government is able to, address their concerns. And they have said that, look, we are keeping our fingers crossed. We are still watching and waiting. We will resume work, but we believe that this government will definitely look into the issue and address our concerns. If you're one of those people who have always bemoaned and complained about data in Ghana, then there is good news for you. Sometimes you buy data in a couple of hours and in a couple of days, it dissipates. Well, there has been an increment in data value, and this is the chart. So people are happy, but there are those who are also asking some very serious questions. They are saying that they hope that this will not affect the quality of data that they get. If you have 200 gigabytes of data and everything you load is buffering, you're not able to download things, you're always struggling with network problems, then it's as though nothing has been done. But we'd only have to wait for July 1st to see whether this increment will affect the quality of service or whether we can do a 360 applause for the government for essentially increasing the value of data and providing us with quality network. On Rhythms Live this week, we were, very privileged to host the legendary musician, Mr. Simons. And he spoke about his love for music, his journey in music, the fact that he began as a chorister in church, and how he comes about, his very melodious tunes. Let's take a listen. In India, a plane took off and was heading towards London Gatwick. The unfortunate thing is, few minutes after it took off, it crashed and there was this very huge fireball. Over 290 people died on the spot, but one person survived and he lived to tell his story.
Everything happened in front of my eyes. I don't know how I survived. For some time, I thought I was also going to die. But when I opened my eyes, I realized that I was alive, and I tried to unbuckle myself from the seat and escape from where I could. It was in front of my eyes that the air hostess and others died. After the takeoff, within a minute, it felt like the plane came to a standstill for 5 to 10 seconds. I could feel engine thrust increasing to go up, but it crashed with speed into the building.
In light of this, there have been several questions. What happened? How did you switch seats from whatever seat you are assigned to seat 11A moments and minutes before the plane crash? How were you able to walk out essentially with just minor cuts and bruises a few moments before the plane exploded? Several questions. Some people are calling it a miracle. Others are saying that it's luck. Well, after surviving an incident like this, we'll just have to let this man, relax, breathe, and maybe after some time, he can give us more details on the story. Now, the Attorney General has said so many things about ongoing investigations. You can find these stories on starfm.com.gh as well as all our social media platforms. It has been such a pleasure coming your way. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you same time next week.